Nothing but the truth. Hey, everybody. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another edition of Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Tisha. And we're here tonight with a very special guest. Tisha, how you feeling tonight? You look great as
Yeah,
always.
thanks. Looking good too. I'm feeling good. A little tired, but
We're
it's
gonna
been a
make it.
busy day.
Yes, indeed. We're not Fannie Lou Hamer tired, but we can stand a little rest. We are in the fight, feeling good, moving as quickly as possible. Folks are gathering around.
Yes.
There's Trisha. You see her coming in from Dallas. Good to see you,
Hey,
family.
Trish.
And everybody is gathering around for another edition of Nothing But the Truth. Now, tonight we have some very, very, very special conversation to have. We've got a great guest. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you already know that's why you're here. And that's
Mm,
why you're filing into the room in such great and enthusiastic numbers. I'm going to turn it over to the greatest hostess in the world, and she'll tell you how you can become a part of the Nothing But the Truth team and family right here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock and wherever fine broadcasting is shown.
That's
Sister Teacher?
right. Hey, everybody. Welcome again to another exciting episode of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. We are so glad that you've tuned in to join us. We do want to ask that you help us continue to grow this platform, help us to get out there and reach more people, grow this audience. And you can do that simply by going to our YouTube page, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha, and like, share, and subscribe. And then head right on over to Facebook and you'll go to my page, Tisha Muhammad, like, share, and subscribe. Then go tell a friend to get on and like, share, and subscribe. Hamid?
Yeah, that's what you do. It's pretty simple. It's open and shut, and it's easy. And we're watching folks gather into the room. Like I said, we are noticing, and I don't want to say everybody's name if they haven't put their name to be said, but wow, we're glad to see North Carolina in the room. Oh
Yes.
my. We got folks coming in from Texas, of course.
Mhm.
There's Wisconsin back with us tonight, and we're always good to see our family in New Jersey. So
Love it. Love
as
it.
you gather around, come on in, like they used to sing in church, come on in the room, come on in the room. And there's a lot to be done here tonight. Let's get right to our guest, shall we, teach?
Yes. Yes. So we
Let's,
can have
let's
enough time to discuss
Yes, because she has so many accomplishments and so many interesting aspects to her multifaceted life that we want to get into a discussion with her that will allow you, our audience, to access her person to person by means of YouTube, Facebook, social media, and this broadcast.
That's right.
She is a native Washingtonian, born and reared in the nation's capital, and she is a product of that city's early childhood education and that of Montgomery County in high school, and then on to the University of Maryland at Baltimore County and other educational institutions all over the world. But most importantly to that process,
Mhm.
she's the holder of the Doctorate of Ministry degree, the earned Doctorate of Ministry degree from the Howard University School of Divinity. And she is also a candidate at that institution for the PhD. And she'll tell us more about that. We call her affectionately the double doc because
Come
she's
on.
moving toward two doctorate degrees. Okay. If I can say both syllables in the word doctor, I feel accomplished. But she's about to have two doctoral degrees. She's our friend, she's our sister, an entrepreneur, a journalist, a mother, a friend. She does a whole lot.
Yes,
And in her
sure.
role as assistant dean of the chapel at a major HBCU, which we can't mention the name. She's not here representing that institution tonight,
Right.
but it's a major institution of higher learning among African Americans and people from throughout the diaspora. And if you know, then you know
You
uh, what
know.
that is. Let's bring our guest forward tonight. She's with us, Dr. Nisa Islam Muhammad. Dr. Muhammad. There she
Assalamualaikum.
is. Walaikum
Walaikum
salam.
salam.
There's
Welcome.
the
Thank you so much
founder
for
of
having
those.
me.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Everything from the Ramadan prayer line, which you originated, and Allah brought that idea through you and gave it to the whole world of Islam. And there's our favorite trucker, Dave C, checking in. but Dr. Nisa, so much that you have contributed to our nation, and it's just an honor to sit and talk with you and reflect with you about some of the great experiences that you've had as a helper and laborer of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. You, according to every history book that I've ever read and every anecdotal account I've ever listened to, were essential in the rebuilding of the nation as a leader in the MGT class. What was that like, starting out hardly with nothing and then growing what you did over these last 4 decades of time? How did that feel to be a part of that process?
So you were going way back in time, way back in time. You was talking about 4 decades ago in my early days.
Yes.
And so, it was really a phenomenal time to be a Muslim.
Yes.
I heard Minister Farrakhan speak. I loved what I heard. I came into the mosque. I took my shahada. I learned how to pray. I learned how to make wudu. I mean, in the opposite order, learn how to make wudu, then learn how to pray. And we just wanted to build an institution and a community for women that wanted the same thing, who wanted to change their life, who were tired of sin, tired of suffering, tired of being ashamed of their lives and wanted something different. And so I was just blessed with an opportunity to be in a leadership position for these women and to help them to cultivate themselves as Muslim women and to have a life that was pleasing to Allah. And so it was a great opportunity. It was just a great opportunity. And I'm just so very thankful for that opportunity because it helped myself, it helped me to grow as a Muslim. It helped me to teach my daughter how to grow as a Muslim. And I interacted with so many, amazing women and girls. And it was just great.
Yes.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Were there personalities that stuck out to you, like people who you remember working with? Like, because it reads just in my own knowledge of some of the things that you've done in your career, helping the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to organize and implement the Million Man March,
Mm.
helping the MGT to move into Philadelphia for the Million Women's March. I mean, doing the things that you did, working with everybody from Sister Captain Portia Pacha to Congresswoman Maxine Waters and all the folks that you know and have worked with, a close associate of Mrs. Cora Masters Barry. Um, we call her the forever First Lady of the District of Columbia. These are your friends, associates, and colleagues. What has it been like? I mean, meeting and working with all these remarkable folks.
So those are really big names, and I, enjoyed working with them. But it all starts on a very smaller level with sisters that you come to meet that help you do this work. And of course, one of my favorite people is your sister, Sister
Mhm.
Sharifa Muhammad, affectionately known by those who love her as Deet. And so we became very close from the very beginning.
Mhm.
And we wanted the same thing. I mean, we wanted to help Muslim women grow and develop. And
Mhm.
so we soldiered hard and long, years and years and years and years and years. And so she is affectionately still in my heart. Her, your whole family, I
Mhm.
love them. And because it was just women who wanted to be good Muslims. We wanted to be good Muslims. We wanted to lead lives that were pleasing to Allah. And so this gave us the opportunity to do that. These major events were stepping stones along the way that added to our development and our growth, but also it taught us really how to serve Black people, especially Black women. Because if you cannot love your people, if you don't love Black women, you don't love Black people, it's very difficult to serve them. It's very difficult to be of an aid and help to your
Mhm.
people if you don't love them. And this is what we were taught in our classes. This is what Minister Farrakhan taught. This is the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We have to love our people. And so as you going back way back in time, I mean, that is what I learned as a foundation. That is what we did. And so everything that we did to accumulate hopefully any goodness on our scales, any way in the goods with the bad is because we wanted to do something that pleased Allah and also to help develop Muslim women.
Wow.
I can say as a young Muslim, coming up in the Nation of Islam, I've always looked up to you, but I had never really met you, right? Per se, face to face, but I always knew of you, knew who you were, and looked to you as a mentor from afar. And I can bear witness that you didn't look down on the least of us. You were a great example for us. You gave us an example of what we were studying in our books on how to do it, if that makes sense. Because a lot of us coming in, nobody else in my family was in Islam. So I didn't know anything really about Islam, but I know I know it resonated with my soul and I wanted to learn it, but I needed some, you want some hands on example. And so you were one of the people that I looked to for how to walk as a Muslim, how to carry myself, how to make everything that I'm learning make sense. And so I thank you for that. I've just been watching you for a long time. And when I finally got to meet you face to face, I was like, it's Nisa. It's Nisa, but she's just Nisa. She's just great all the way around. There's no big eyes and no little U's. She wants the best for all of us. And that comes across when people are in your presence. So I thank you for that.
No, thank you for that. And it's really just, you said just Nisa. I mean, people who know me, who have gotten to know me, Brother Jamil went way, way back. People who've known me then up until now, I'm still just Nisa. No, as you said, no big eyes, no little U's, just Nisa, just someone striving to, as I keep saying, live a life that's pleasing to Allah, to live a life and to help others along the way, for us to be able to do that, for us to love the Quran, to love Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to love our experiences in Islam, to love wherever we find ourselves on this mission to do good, wherever we see ourselves along the way, to just love being Muslim. I was in a class recently about, writing books, and, the teacher said, what do you want? What is your purpose for trying to write children's books? And I said, I want children to love being Muslim.
Yes.
I want children to love and enjoy what it means to be Muslim, because it's just so very, very important these days.
Yes, yes, indeed. As I listen to that, and as I listen to your response, you talk about writing children's books and helping children to love to be Muslim, and that naturally leads into your own experience as a mom, and as an auntie, and as a mentor who sat in the seats of motherhood and family, and of course, and by I have to be honest, all of our children knew that as sweet as you were, you didn't play. You didn't
Oh,
play, especially no. And she's shaking her head. No, I don't play. But you brought out of them. I mean, if you think about it, there are four, yeah, four of the cousins who grew up under you are masters of education and
beautiful.
teachers. Um, Two more have bachelors of education. Then you have masters of social work who came up under you as either cousins, siblings, or in-laws of yours, children-in-law. How did you do that? What were you saying to them that helped them to make those broad strides? And some of them did it right at that nameless black institution there in the District of Columbia, which even though we don't say, we know, but how did you do that?
I think the value of that is the value of family.
Mm.
That, growing up Muslim, we learned family. We learned the value of family. So I easily became auntie to your children. I became auntie to Deet's children.
Mhm.
You and her were Uncle Chip and Aunt Deet to my children. And so whatever I was giving to mine, I was giving to hers, I was giving to yours. And it is because we were family. And the knowledge and wisdom, whatever it is that I had, or whatever, was something that we gave to everybody. It was not just for my little five over here,
Mhm.
or her four, or yours, or your 5, 6, 7 children you had. It was for all of us.
Five to
It
seven.
was really for all of us.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so that's how they all listened, they all heard, they all experienced similar things, and they were able to grow academically, spiritually, all of that.
Wow. Wow. And Tisha, if I may, just
Go
to
ahead.
just to follow up on that one question, and I'm looking in the chat, and expect these questions, Dr. Nisa, expect them, please. Uh, yes, brother David, Uncle
Oh,
Chip, that's
Oh,
okay. Yes.
oh,
Anyway,
people didn't know. Okay,
they
I'm
didn't.
sorry.
They
I
didn't
didn't
know.
mean to
Okay,
say it down.
it's
Sorry.
okay. It's all right. But right above that in the comment section, you can see a question from my man. He's under the name Next Level, but that's Cornbread. That's brother James. And brother James wants to know: can we get another Dean Intensive Academy?
No
No pressure.
pressure.
No
pressure.
pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. You know, so many people have asked about that, and that's something that we'll try to work on in the future because I know so many people really enjoyed it and really had great experiences. So that is on the list. Don't think your requests are just out there in the internet somewhere, but other people have asked for that also. So it's something, it's on the list.
All right, on the list. Speaking of the list, there's a lot going on. When when Tisha first moved here, when we first married and moved here about 3 years ago, one Saturday you just scooped her up. I don't know if you remember this,
Oh,
but
yes.
you said, "Come on, ride with me," and Tisha's like, "Yep, I'm rolling."
I'm
Because
broke.
she's
Eyes
rolling,
wide
she's
open.
rolling with the cat. It's big stuff. So she gets in, rolls out with you, and you take her to a bazaar, a vending event on behalf of your business. I'm going to ask you a two-part question. First, could you tell us a little bit about what that day was like with my little wife that first day? And secondly, tell us about your business, how your business is impacting Muslim women in yet another way that we might not expect.
So that was a really wonderful occasion. Sister Tisha and I went to a women's conference at Darul Hijra. That is a masjid here in the DC area. And Usteda Aisha Prime was the guest speaker, who's a wonderful friend of mine who I
Yes.
love. Any and every time I have an opportunity to hear her and work with her. And so at this women's conference, I was one of the speakers, but I also was vending my new business, my modest swimwear. So
Yes.
I love swimming. I love to swim. I love to be active, but there were not a lot of choices for me and perhaps other Muslim women of what we were going to wear,
Hmm.
because I don't want to dress like this and then when I go to the pool, uncover and look another way. And
Hmm.
so I was looking for something in some, appropriate swimwear for me as a Muslim woman. And I really couldn't find I could find something, but I like a little glam. I like a little style to what it is that I do.
Right.
And I couldn't find it. And so I said, you know what? If I can't find it, other people may not be able to find it either. So why don't I start something? And so I started this. This was during COVID, when people were at home and I was kind of bored, what to do. And I started Orchid Allure Modest Swimwear. And really it's swimwear, it's active wear, it's all of the above. And so that's what I do now. So Tisha was a great helper. Oh
Great.
my gosh, she was such a great helper for me. She managed the vending booth while I was doing other things. That's me in one of
Yep.
my swimwear.
All right.
I'm at the pool, right? And
Chilling.
so yeah, I like to I like to have fun. I like to swim. And yes, that is swimwear.
Yep.
Yes, that is swimwear. People are like, is that really swimwear?
Mhm.
Yes, that is swimwear. The top attaches to the pants. So when you jump in the water, the top just doesn't come all up. It attaches. It's swimwear. It's made out of lycra. As soon as you get out of the water, you just kind of shake it off. It dries fast.
Yep.
And so it's just wonderful swimwear. But it's a swimwear for the woman who wants to look as beautiful outside the water as she does in the water.
Yes.
Wow.
Comes in
Wow.
beautiful colors. She has a lot of different styles. It was
Beautiful colors, beautiful
great.
styles,
Yep.
all of that.
Mhm. Yes, and Sister Tisha's planning right now to add many more colors
Yes.
to her
I have the
closet.
blue and white one.
Mhm.
It's gorgeous.
I know,
Yes.
sweetie. I know. Yes.
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 And
And
and really, you don't know what you need until you see it. You're like, oh my God, I didn't even know I needed that. I definitely need that.
You
And
do.
so I offer sizes from small all the way to 3X because I know that our women come in a variety of shapes and sizes. And a lot of times other sellers cater to smaller sizes. I have sizes for the curvy woman who still wants to look beautiful. And so if someone is interested, my website is www.orchidallure.com. You can see what I have. I just have some new styles that just came in that are not on the site. So if you're interested in something or in a particular size, they can email me info@orchidallure.com, and I can do a little FaceTime or a little Zoom and show you what I have to see what you may be interested in.
Wow. And you would probably do fashion assessments for people too, right? I mean, to help them determine what's good, right? That's great.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Tisha.
So you know what I noticed about the swimwear too, because like she said, when we go to the pool, we don't want to be all the way uncovered, and so sometimes we try to put on too much, and it's just not proper attire to get in the water. You want to choke yourself, your scarf hanging everywhere. But this had the it covered everything, and even me being curvy, I didn't have to worry about stuff puckering and pulling, and you could
No.
even how when you come out of the water, you don't have to. You could walk comfortably back to your seating area without
Mhm.
having to run, and it's just perfect
And
when
I
it
think,
Wow.
dries. It's not heavy.
that's important to consider who my clients are. Who are the women that I am trying to dress for active wear and dress for the pool? I mean, these are women that I think want to look beautiful as in the water as well as they do outside of the water. Because for a lot of women, it's not just about getting in the water. We just want to look cute but laying by the pool. We
Hmm.
just want to look cute on the beach. We just want to kick our feet up and just look nice. And that's okay too. I have something for you. I have something exactly for you. But if you want to get in the water, if you want to do some laps, if you want to swim around and you want to play around with your children, I got you. I have
Right.
the perfect suit for you.
Wow. Wow. We're and just in case you're wondering, you are indeed watching Nothing But the Truth with Brother
Brother
Jamil and
Jamil.
Sister Tisha.
That's
Yes, indeed, and Sister Tisha. And we are actually, and yes, of course, Sister Deanna, we will be sharing the information in the chat. That's our sister from Baltimore, Maryland, the great Sister Deanna. Good to see you on the Nothing But the Truth podcast tonight. It's much more to come. There is much more to come. The time is only just begun. So we got much more conversation with Dr. Nisa Islam Muhammad. For those who are new to this circle, make sure you do a few things. Make sure you come on in the room. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit the thumbs up, the like button.
gotcha.
Then you can go two thumbs up if you want to. You can just make stuff happen. You do what you want to do. But hit that button and make sure then you comment, share in the discussion. Then subscribe to the channel.
Come on.
Subscribe to Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. We're growing our audience, and we want to make sure we continue to do that by bringing you quality program, the likes of which you're seeing tonight with our
Absolutely.
special guest, Dr. Nisa Islam Muhammad. There's much more. If I could turn the page, and we'll come back to Orchid Allure because I see that there are questions coming into the chat, and we will make sure we do that to get to everyone who's there. Just to give you an idea, Dr. Nisa, Brother David in Atlanta says he needs that for his daughter. She thinks that she's supposed to live inside of a pool. So then you definitely need to contact Orchid. You need to contact orchidallure.com, okay? Because they'll make sure that you are able to get that information for your family and get everybody up and rolling, okay?
You do have children sizes?
I do. I have smaller girl sizes, but depending upon the age, they can and the height, they may be able to wear my smalls.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I think somebody put in the chat, do I scuba dive? No.
I'm
No.
No,
No.
that's only because she hasn't gotten around to it. Trust me.
Right.
She's
I
probably
am
gonna scuba
I
dive
am not
soon
that
and
brave.
skydive after that. I don't know what Sister
Well,
Nisa
that
will
is
do.
true. Let me tell you, my children for my birthday one year, I should have sent you a skydiving picture. My
Oh Lord.
children one year took me for a birthday present, and it was a total surprise. Like I said, I was all dressed up. I was like, "Where are we going?" And they were just, "It's a surprise. We'll tell you when we get there." And we were driving and driving, and I was like, "Where are we going?" Drive like over an hour away, and we went skydiving. And I think Majida went first.
Oh
Mhm.
Majida
gosh.
jumped out of the plane first. And then I was, so they take you all up at the same time. So she got out first. And then when I told them, I said, look, this is already paid for. I don't have to go. We can
Right.
just head on back down because you know what? I have seen the sky. I saw her do it. My son's going
Right.
to do it.
Uh-huh.
Not a thing. He was like, oh no, you are getting out of this plane.
Oh my
And I jumped, and I was reciting Al Fatiha the whole way
I'm
down.
sure. I'm sure.
If you had reminded me, I would have sent you a school, I mean, a skydiving picture. I was petrified the whole way, but I was just asking Allah, 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 Allah.
Were your eyes open?
Allah.
Were your eyes open, or did
No,
you?
they were closed. You can see those pictures. My eyes are closed. My eyes are like, oh.
The
Yeah.
book says that they call on Allah in sincerity. That may
In
have been
sincerity.
one of those occasions. Yeah, this is nothing but the truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. We're headed toward the
Yes.
bottom of the hour, but before we reach the break, I want to ask you if we could shift gears just a little bit.
Oh
That
yeah.
bold, that daring nature that you have, that has caused you to be unafraid to step out and do things. Not only have you traveled internationally, I remember you getting on a plane and saying, "I'm going over to cover events in the Philippines. I'll be over there for a week." You're in the Philippines, and then we're like, "Where is she?" And so you're in the Philippines, and then another time you may be in Denmark or Norway or Sweden, Iran, whenever you. So you have made these changes, but the thing that comes to mind is, of course, your travels to Iran, but one of your most noteworthy assignments as a journalist, two of them actually, have been your constant role as a featured writer in The Final Call. The Final Call is the official organ of the Nation of Islam. You've been doing that for a number of years and have served as the editorial writer, editorial page editor, national correspondent. You've been all around with that in the Washington bureau with Brother Askia Muhammad. All those things are a matter of record. You've also served as a foreign correspondent for Press TV, which is the official Iranian English language news outlet. How did you get the nerve, the chutzpah, as they call it in the Lower East Side? How did you get that nerve to do that kind of thing? It took a lot. And were you ever like hesitant, like maybe I shouldn't? Because you just did.
So, the Quran says, fear no one but Allah.
Come on.
And that is something that's a hard lesson to learn. Fear no one but Allah. And I found myself having to teach that to my children.
Mm-hmm.
In the Quran, sometimes we fear man like we should fear Allah. And I
Mm.
only wanted my children to fear Allah. I did not want them to fear the schoolyard bully or fear somebody. I wanted them to grow up fearing only Allah. And I remember my son Nasser, I went to a teacher's conference, and the teacher was impressed because she said they were reading this book I think it's called The K. And in this book, the lead person in the story is confronted with sharks on a boat, and he's on this boat and he's about to drown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he gets in the water, but there are sharks in the water. And so the teacher asked the students in Nasser's class, would anybody jump in to save him? This man who's in the water with these sharks. And she said Nasser was the only one who raised his hand. And
Mm.
so she was asking me, she said she was very impressed that he said he would jump in the water to save this man was from the sharks. And so when I got home, I said, Nasser, why would you jump in the water to save, this man from the sharks? He said, because we're taught to fear no one but Allah. And I was like, oh,
There
well,
it is.
Okay.
There-
Splash.
there you go. The same thing with Majida. Majida was confronted with something in class where it was something you had to go really high up somewhere.
Mhm.
And she was the only one in her class who would go up that high. And I said, Majida, why did you want to do that? She said, because you taught us not to fear anything but Allah. So when I heard my children giving back to me
Mm.
the lessons that I had given to them, I had to overcome my own fear so that
Mhm,
I too could only fear Allah. And so I just had to be brave in whatever it is that I was going to do, because they were always watching. They were
Yes.
always, okay, Mommy, what you doing now? Because
Yes.
what are you doing now? And so that's really, our children listen to what we say, but they more importantly watch what we do.
Yes,
And
indeed.
if I'm telling them, fear no one but Allah, and I'm acting all scared about stuff. They're like, whoa, this is some kind of disconnect. This is not making sense.
Come on.
And so I just had to, just believe what I was saying. I just had to, Allah, come on, Allah, it's me and you. Come on.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Bismillah.
There's more. And as we prepare for break, we want to thank Brother William for his comment. William in
Yes.
Oakland, California. He wants to thank you for being one of the major inspirations for him going to journalism school and gaining that as a professional qualification of his.
We
Brother,
need more writers. I mean, we
yes,
need
indeed.
more people to tell our story.
Come
There's
on.
so many opportunities out there for us to tell our stories, but we're not telling them. So we need more writers.
Yes, indeed. We'll talk more about that after the break as well. And somebody wants to know about the nature and some of the beauty of your personal relationship with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We'll
Exciting.
be back with more after this break. Don't go anywhere. You're on Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil,
and Sister Tisha. Stay right there.
be right back. Assalamualaikum, family.
Assalamu alaikum.
What are we saying? What are we doing? Woo! Assalamualaikum, family. Assalamualaikum, family.
Assalamu alaikum.
We want to thank you for taking the time to tune into Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil.
And Sister Tisha. We thank you for every Thursday night joining us for appointment viewing. 8 p.m. Not 8 a.m.
Yeah, I'm going to come in on the PM.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Thursday nights by YouTube, by Facebook, by Instagram, by all the other means by which we can be seen. But we thank you because without you, as a matter of fact, here the Manhattans, there's no me without
Why does
you.
he always do that? Assalamualaikum.
There's no me.
You didn't say assalamualaikum. You didn't say assalamualaikum.
Oh, assalamu alaikum.
Without you. Yeah. Oh, we're back. We're back. But that Manhattan's, that's the good stuff.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Dr. Nisa Islam Muhammad is with us tonight, our sister from the Nation of Islam, from the community, from Washington, D.C., from the family. She's just something to everybody who knows her. And we're glad that you are not just a guest, but a very, very special member of the Nothing But the Truth family. And we appreciate you being with us tonight. Thank you so much. Callers and commenters are in the chat on YouTube and Facebook and all over the place. And so we just want to welcome you all. And we're going to try to get to as many of your questions as possible and asking them. This one, oh, I'm in trouble now. Sister Javon is going to get me.
Yes.
She
is in the comments.
I think I thought I told you. See, Sister J, what had happened was I thought that you and then
No excuse.
let's keep on rolling.
Get it.
But tonight we wanted to ask this question. One of our brothers here in where is he? Oh, he's in Arkansas. Tell us a little bit more about your relationship with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and how that helped to propel your Islamic journey.
I want to hear this.
So from a very, very, very young Muslim, you mentioned that I wrote for the Final Call newspaper, and this was like back in the 80s when I was like 2 years old.
Yes,
I
too.
was
Yes.
always very advanced for my age.
Yes, of course.
And one of my first stories that I wrote, and this is the very early days, he signed my check. And so I got the check and it had his name on it. It had my name on it. And I didn't cash that check for the longest time. I was like, I'm just, wow, this is just this is just really a great thing. And so from the very beginning, it was just very inspirational. He named me, he gave me this name, Nisa Islam.
Wow.
And it's just a name that I have loved and cherished from the moment that I got it. I mean, it was decades ago. Jamil likes to go way, way back. But it's just, it has guided who I am. I mean, he saw me before I knew who I was, and he gave
Wow.
me this name that has helped me to grow and to develop, to become a woman in Islam and to represent that in all that I do. And so it has just been it's almost like beyond words. I mean, the kind of relationship and just the inspiration and empowerment that he has given me over time. It's just, I guess, almost beyond words.
Wow, wow, and that's remarkable. That journey, to have that kind of relationship with him, and to know that he was formative or essential in your formative years as a Muslim. And I find that interesting also in the current political climate and the climate in the Black religious community, the fact that you are as fundamentally rooted in the principles of Islam. And one thing we don't do here on Nothing But the Truth, and Sister Teacher will tell you, we don't do no preaching here.
At
We don't
all. None of
preaching is something that we
No,
don't.
no preaching.
But let me just say this. Well, I have to say just one thing, that this community that is often maligned because it's misunderstood has produced the intellectual and spiritual likes of Dr. Nisa,
it.
someone who is intellectually capable of great reaches, but is firmly rooted in the faith in her heart and expressive of the principles of Islam. That's essential for us to have that kind of great example, and we appreciate that. I think I speak for Sister Tisha and myself and our family and everybody around in the audience. Man, we really appreciate what you do. And one of the things we appreciate, that Sister Tisha and I appreciate, is that you are the founder, we got to give it up for this, and curator of Black Marriage Day. The last weekend in the month of March each year, Black Marriage Day.
Mhm.
Tell us about the inspiration for Black Marriage Day. Where did it come from? How did it start? Tell us about that.
So I started Black Marriage Day. I was speaking at a conference called Smart Marriages. I had started an organization, Wedded Bliss Foundation, and to really help adults and teens develop healthy relationships and healthy marriages to better the outcomes for their children. So I was at a conference about the need for Black people to begin to celebrate marriage in our community, to begin to look at marriage very differently, to begin to look at marriage as a way of wealth building, as a way of rearing our children differently, just all of these really positive things that there are about marriage. And I found out, marriage, Black married men make more money, they're more successful, they have lower risk of drug use, alcohol use, all of these positive things about being married. And I kept wondering, well, does anybody Black know this stuff?
No.
And so speaking at this conference, I talked about the need to have a day or an opportunity for Black people to celebrate marriage. And so I did my lecture, went home, and got a call from Essence Magazine.
Oh, wow.
And the writer was like, okay, I was in your workshop. I didn't get a chance to talk to you. When is Black Marriage Day? I said, Black Marriage Day? She's like, yes, you talked about Black Marriage Day. I was like, let me call you right back.
Right.
Looked at a calendar, got a website together, talked to some people, and planned Black Marriage Day for the fourth Sunday in March. And this was in 2023, I want to say. Maybe 22. So that was the beginning of it. And Essence did a story on it in November of that year. And, we had like about 23 cities celebrate Black Marriage Day the first year. So now Black Marriage Day has gone far and wide, and people celebrate it really often all around the world with events and activities. There's a website, blackmarriageday.com. If anyone's interested in working with me on it, really my children are about to take it over, because I'm just doing so many other things. I can't give it the really attention that it needs. So if anyone else is interested in Black Marriage Day, let me know. I'd be more than happy to get you involved.
Wow.
Enter
Wow.
in the chat. She's looking for help.
Yes, indeed. And I'll tell you that help I'm sure will be close at hand because the benefit of Black Marriage Day is excellent,
Oh,
excellent for
thank you,
all women.
Javon.
Uh,
Javon is a miracle worker. I love her
Mhm.
so much. I
yes.
love the work that she does. I love the birthing stuff that she does. I'm a Javon fan and
All right.
groupie.
All right. All right.
Yes.
I'm sure that that is a mutually shared experience and spirit. Tisha, were you going to ask something?
No, I want to hear some more about her experiences being like a regional captain in the Nation of Islam. Any fun stories you have to tell? Any of your travels that you want to share with us?
You know, going back in the day, it was all fun. I mean,
Mhm.
realistically, it was all fun. All the sisters that I worked with, we all had our children with us. So it wasn't like this was work we did and our children were someplace else. We brought our children with us. We brought our families with us. We were at events early. Our children were at events early. Sometimes they were asleep on the steps somewhere,
Oh wow!
looking like beached whales or whatever. But we had our children there. We had food for them. I always had food for all the children
Yes,
because I knew my children wanted food. They wanted some snacks. Everybody had a snack bag. Everybody had a bag with their toys in it. We brought there were no iPads to keep them occupied.
right.
They had toys, they had books because we knew we were going to be doing things and our children had to be taken care of. And so we did not separate the work that we did from our families. I mean,
Beautiful.
we were just all there together.
That's
And
beautiful.
we were the first ones when people walked in the door, we were the last ones to leave. And so it was just really, really a wonderful experience. And to this day, I asked them are y'all kind of mad at me because I dragged y'all everywhere? They're like, no, we have fun. And all the people that they met they're all cousins. I'm auntie to all my friends' children. And now my daughter and my son's friends are all auntie and uncles to their children.
I love
And
it.
so just really wonderful family values.
No doubt
Still
about it.
family values. We saw you at Savior's Day still with some children. Right?
Yes.
Family
Still
values.
family.
Yes, family values.
Yeah.
True indeed, true
Yeah.
indeed. And those children are getting the blessing of then being exposed to the press pool at Savior's Day, the
Wow.
nerve center of the media as they
Yes.
come in to cover the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at Savior's Day. This is important things that you might be tempted, Dr. Nisa, to take for granted. I don't think you do because of your humble spiritual perspective, but I really believe that with all of these experiences, it's kind of dizzying to people who are leading what they call everyday lives, and those lives are
Mhm.
very special too. But when you are able to say, yeah, when I was in Iran, I was walking down the street in
Come on.
Tehran one day. And no, that was before I got to Manila. Yeah, I handled that. But then one day in London, I was thinking to myself, just see, you have that kind of anecdotal range, and that range makes it possible for you to help the minister in key ways. Now, we have about another 12 minutes on the program. And Tisha, are you thinking what I'm thinking about? Maybe
Perhaps
part
asking her to come back.
no,
Is
part
that what you're
part
thinking?
two.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I'm thinking, honey. You think beautiful. I like to. Not only are you like super cute, but you think really nice, and that's good. And so so I want to make sure. But Dr. Nisa, if you could just shine a little bit of light for us today on how the Ramadan prayer line,
Mm.
how the Ummah reflects is affecting the Muslim world and how the process of growth for that event is still with you today. Could you talk a little bit about that? Elaborate on that for us?
So that's a very good question. So must have been like 2005,
Mhm.
not 2005, 2015. Anyway, it was a minute ago. It was a while ago. My children were in college, so maybe.
It was 2005 or 6 back then.
Oh yes,
Hmm.
2005. I'm looking better than I think. 2005.
Yeah.
So Nasser and Regina were away at college, and I wanted something to help them maintain their devotion and commitment to Islam during Ramadan. I wanted them to stay Muslim. Is there something I could do to help them stay Muslim during Ramadan? They're away from school. Children get away from school, they just go crazy, whatever. So I wanted to think of something. So I was at Northwood High School where my youngest son was at school. I was just leaving a back to school event when my youngest son was in high school, and you just happened to be around. And I said, "What do you think about A, B, C, and D and doing some kind of programming, to keep our children connected, during Ramadan so that we can inspire them to fast and, start their, Ramadan day off well?" And you thought it was a good idea. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a good idea. And you talked to some other brothers that had the technical skills to be able to put all of this together. Brother Anthony J, Brother Muthakar, Brother Shahid. And so the first day of this small little program we were thinking about was over the phone, and we had 50 lines. And we were like, that's way too many lines. It's going to be maybe 10 of us on the lines. 50 is way too many. But as it started, and we started with 5 a.m., when we started it, it was like the lines were filling up and people were texting me, "I can't get on the line. I can't get on the line." I was like, what line are you talking about? And people had heard about it. Word had spread and people were trying to get on. I was amazed.
Yes.
I was just amazed. And so from then it has grown, and we've grown on phone lines. We are now a podcast because the phone lines just got to be too much. And, we were dropping lines and the lines couldn't connect. And it was just really, really, really challenging. And so in 1999, in the Muslim prayer book that the Nation of Islam produced, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wrote something about one of his last tasks that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him was to find a way to unite with the Muslim world. How did he do this? How does he unite the Nation of Islam with the Muslim world, with the Sunni world? How was he going to be able to do this? And so he wrote this in this prayer book. Like I said, I think it was 1999, the book, and it was because of the turn of the century that he was trying to be able to do this. And so I remember reading that, and I said, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, wow, that's really going to be a hard challenge. And so all along through this prayer line, we have found a way to unite with the Muslim world. And every year, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan opens it and he closes it. But Imam Siraj Wahaj, who was one of his best friends, is on day 2. And I try to make sure that we have an equal number of Muslims from other communities as we do Muslims from the Nation of Islam. So it is a mix. It is a big mix of the Muslim world. And it's an opportunity for everybody to hear everybody, to whoever your person is. We try to have them on this, what is now the Ummah Reflects podcast, because we want Islam to reign supreme in the lives of all of our people. And the one way to do that, minus differing and bickering over ideology, is to present a format where everybody can say Islam can reign supreme, especially during the holy month of Ramadan. We especially want it then. And so this Ramadan, we spent a lot of time talking about what's happening in Palestine, the Ummah Report. So that what's going on around the world. So we talked about Palestine, we talked about the Congo, we talked about Sudan, where all the conflicts are happening, so that Muslims can be informed and aware of just what's happening all around the world. So alhamdulillah, Allah is merciful. Another year down the drain, another successful year. And it's just an opportunity for us to work cheerfully and fear not. Yeah, work cheerfully. But it is not, let me just say this, it may look easy, but it is not easy. It is, we are anxious and happy when it starts, but we are so happy when Ramadan is over. It's hard work. It is, hard work. It is hard work. But Allahu Akbar, we work cheerfully and we fear not.
Beautiful.
Indeed. And that's the only way that Dr. Nisa's leadership will brings it out of you, the working cheerfully. You're going to work, but because of the courtesy, the kindness, the respect,
you want to work.
That she shows you, you're going to want to work. And so that's an amazing skill, to be a coach, to be a leader, and not to be a boss, not to be a foreman. Everybody wants to be a boss these days, but bosses are not as effective as leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're listening to tonight on Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha is a leader. This is Dr. Nisa Islam Muhammad,
Beautiful.
the assistant dean of the chapel at a major black university in the District of Columbia. She's not here officially representing them tonight, so we won't mention the name of that institution. But if you know, then you know what that institution is. We've got about another 7 minutes left on the air. Dr. Nisa, what else is on your mind about, you mentioned earlier about the conflicts that are popping up around the world and affecting Muslims disproportionately? What are your views about how we can make some of a difference? I'm asking this question in the context of the statement of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan from Savior's Day 2024. Clearly, we don't go ahead of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's representation, nor do we attempt to take positions that he may not take and then associate ourselves with him after the fact. That's not wise. But what I've noticed that you've done, especially on the Ramadan prayer line on the Ummah Reflects this year, was to back up the minister's position with facts, factual information about connecting people around the world. What's the status of those efforts today after Ramadan has ended, and what is your view about how they will succeed going forward?
So it is a very, very painful time to be in this world. I mean, there have been horrible things that have happened in the world before, but it is a very, very difficult time in the world right now to watch what's happening in the Sudan, where children are starving and they're being massacred, to watch what's happening to the Palestinians, where children are being starved and being massacred, to watch what's happening in the Congo. You just have to pick an area on the map and just look at the suffering that our people are experiencing. And we have to be a voice in the wilderness to say, hey, something is going, this is not right. This is totally wrong, and something has to be done about it. And so what we did with the Ummah Reflects, we had the Ummah report, every morning, was to try to give people an inkling of what was happening from different voices and different perspectives, so that people could hear people from Palestine talking about what's going on. We had a brother from Sudan talk about, we had somebody from Congo talk about what is happening there. We had a Jewish woman talk about how they want all the Palestinian land. It's one thing for somebody else to say it who is not there, but it's a
Mhm.
total different thing to have an understanding when you hear people who are in the thick of it talk about what's happening and what's going on in their lives and why this is happening. It's a total different experience. And so that's one of the things that we try to do. I want to thank Sister Dr. Khalil Muhammad for joining the Ummah Report, part of what we do. We welcome all that help. And for everyone who is helping, get this message across to help people understand, it's a very difficult time. It is, and people are suffering all around the world. And we want to be able to show and give a complete picture of what's happening. It's not just in one area. It's not just in this area. Our people are suffering in Southeast DC.
Come on.
Our people are suffering in St. Louis, Missouri, Atlanta, wherever we are, our people are suffering. And so we want to be able to understand that and be able to show the world, because a lot of times even the world doesn't know what's going on. But to be able to just show the world the suffering that is taking place, and that there has to be a cry for justice that is out there that people can hear, and people can say, because the Quran says, are you just going to let the suffering happen and not be a defender for the defenseless? And so we try to always, the Ummah is a very small it's a very small platform for a very small time. You all go all year round. We are 28, sometimes 30 days, 30, and then we're worn out, after that. But you all go week after week after week after week. It was very admirable. But we try to use that very small platform to let the world know. And we do have worldwide listeners that, number one, we want Allah to be pleased with what it is that we do, and to let people know the suffering that's happening, and that we can do something about it, even in our own small ways.
Wow. Excellent. You're looking at and viewing Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. Our guest tonight is, if you haven't heard, is Dr. Nisa Islam Muhammad, the Muslim Renaissance woman, in fact, who does a number of different things and does them all really, really well. In the remaining just about 2 minutes that we have, I'm going to defer to the world's most beautiful hostess. You know who she is, Tisha Muhammad, but I'm going to defer to you, honey, for any last questions that you may have for Dr. Nisa, her final comments, and then we'll prepare to be dismissed and we'll give you some marching orders before you go. Teach?
All right. I don't have any questions. I just want to take just a minute to just thank you for being on our show, and thank you for being you. Thank you for being a friend to me and to all the sisters in the nation, just sisters in general. Just thank you for the light that you've shined for us. I really, really appreciate everything you've done for me, and I'm just thanking you for them too, because I don't think you really understand how much you are loved by us. We really love you, and I just want to thank you. And I also want to ask and remind all of our listeners to please tune in again next Thursday to Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. Same time, same place. Don't forget to go to our YouTube page, like, share, and subscribe. And also then go right on over to Facebook to the Tisha Muhammad page, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, indeed. And we are so happy, Dr. Nisa, to have you here. I'm going to give the last word to you, but a comment that was in the comment section, I believe on YouTube, possibly Facebook, it was earlier in the program, it described you as a triplet at the highest level of education, attainment, and representation of Black Muslim womanhood.
Yes.
It described you as a triplet with Ustada Aisha Prime, who you mentioned earlier in the program, and the people's anthropologist, Dr. Donna Austin of Rutgers University. These wise and accomplished Black Muslim women.
Beautiful.
What's your final word about what the ceiling, what's the limit on what Black Muslim women can do?
There is no ceiling.
No
I'm
limit.
happy to say there is no ceiling. And I am in awe to be referenced with those two amazing sisters who are just I'm groupies for them. I'm such big fans of their work. And it's just, it's a great day to be a Muslim. I mean, it is just an absolutely great day to be a Muslim. And I'm so thankful that Allah woke me up today and Allah allowed me to be Muslim. And I'm thankful for this opportunity to speak to your amazing audience, and just thankful to anybody that I've ever seen, talked to, that if I've done anything, number one, if I've done anything to offend you or hurt you, please let me give this apology. But if I've done anything to say anything to, uplift you or whatever, all praise due to Allah, Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah, all of that, because I think that is our job as Muslims, to be a friend, to be a friend, to be a friend, to be a companion, to help other people, because for some people, we are as close as they're going to get to the Holy Quran. They'll never pick up the book. They'll never read it. They'll never even know anything about it other than their association with us.
Yes.
And so, as we know, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his wife Aisha said he was a walking Quran.
Mm-hmm.
He was a walking Quran. And so all of us, the closest some people are going to get to that holy book is us. Is
Mm-hmm.
us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just, I'm totally not a walking Quran. I'm a couple of verses, one or two ayahs. But, if I can be of help to anyone, I'm so thankful and honored to be able to do that. And I thank Allah every day for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to leave you with a verse from that book that you're citing. In these last 40 seconds, remember this. This is from Surah 16. This is Surah 16 in the Holy Quran, Ayah 125.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't do no preaching, but we will reference some scripture for you.
Sure. We'll read.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It reads, call to the way of thy Lord with wisdom and with goodly exhortation, and argue with them in the best manner. Surely thy Lord knows best him who strays from his path, and he knows best those who go aright. Dr. Nisa, thank you for helping so
Thank
many
you.
in our communities to go aright. Thank you for calling to the way of Islam in a best manner and with a goodly exhortation. This has been Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Tisha. We out of here. Assalamu alaikum.